Good evening, everyone. It's 7:30. I'm calling this regular meeting of the Village Board to order. This meeting has been given public notice in accordance with Section 19.83 and 19.84 Wisconsin statutes in such form that will apprise the general public and news media of subject matter that is intended for consideration and action. Roll call is showing that all trustees are present, and we have Trustee Jan Miller calling in via WebEx. And before we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the moment of silence, I just want to say that this past weekend has been very troubling for me. There's a lot of hate and a lot of evil in our world. We lost 2 soldiers in Syria. We had the shooting at Brown University. We had the shooting down in Australia, and we had the tragic death over in Los Angeles. We have a lot of hate in our community, and we need to, I'm going to say it again, lower the temperature, not only here, but everywhere. But anyway, if you can, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We are now on to the President's report. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to share what has been going on since my last President's report update. This update will be the last one this year, as this will be our last Village Board meeting this year. I hope that everyone had a wonderful weekend, and boy, was it cold outside. I don't know about you, but I'm not ready for the -5 temperatures yet. But don't worry, in a couple days, I believe on Thursday, we'll be in the 40s and it'll be raining. That's Wisconsin for you. In the Village News You Can Use section, there are several updates. Last week, the fire department launched Adopt a Fire Hydrant program that is focusing on clearing snow from your local fire hydrant to save time for responding firefighters in time of need. Also occurring was the inaugural meeting of the local chiefs elected officials group. I had a great time visiting with my peers and talking about common interests and challenges, and it was nice benchmarking. Special thanks to the City of West Bend Mayor Joel Ongert, the City of Hartford Mayor Dennis Regan, and the Village of Slinger Village President Scott Stortz, and finally the Village of Jackson Village President Brian Heckendorf for a fantastic time. It was also great attending the Germantown Area Veterans Memorial ribbon cutting and rededication ceremony. The memorial is a lasting tribute to the courage, sacrifice, and service of the men and women who defended our freedoms. I extend a heartfelt thank you to the American Legion for their leadership and commitment in preserving the memory of our heroes. Because of their efforts, future generations will continue to reflect on the values of service and community. Special thank you to trustees Rick Miller and Bob Warren for attending this wonderful event as well. Yesterday, the Kiwanis Breakfast with Santa event occurred, and it was well attended, even in the -2 weather we had. It was fun seeing all the smiling faces on both the kiddos and the adults alike. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was there, and Santa showed up, and fun was had by all. Santa was even overheard saying that it's warmer up in the North Pole than it was here in Germantown. This evening's GGF committee reviewed the 5-year forecast report that covers general fund revenues and expenses, the debt service levy, and associated property tax rate. And there's more to do on that. In addition, a discussion on tax exempt properties in Germantown and the potential for payments in lieu of taxes or pilot was also discussed. Germantown Fire EMS calls to these properties are extremely high, and we want to ensure that we are protecting the taxpayers by reviewing this and taking appropriate action if needed to ensure that the tax exempt properties pay their fair share. The GGF also reviewed possible updates to Chapter 2 of the Municipal Code as it relates to the Village Board, and now in the now post-COVID era. The Flower Source demolition is now a go, and I saw the sign was taken off of it. Hopefully we have that someplace. Yes. The contract was approved by the Village Board for demolition of buildings on the Flower Source property, and work should be starting before the end of the year. Tomorrow evening, I'll be meeting with the county executive at the Chief Elected Officials Quarterly Meeting up in West Bend. On the agenda will be a high-level discussion on possibly creating a county-wide strategy for fire and EMS. I will learn more and report back to all of you on this, but from what I've heard thus far, local control will still be maintained, and this could be a benefit for our taxpayers from a cost standpoint if we do participate. This evening, we have a very packed agenda that includes several important issues that are too numerous to mention here, but please stay tuned. In closing, from my heart to yours, I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a very happy and healthy New Year. Let's keep this Christmas spirit all year round and not during this holiday period. I'm looking forward to our meeting this evening as we work together to move Germantown forward and to make our community a better place to live, work, and play. Thank you. We are now on to announcements of forthcoming events of public interest and committee and department reports. Trustee Kaminsky.
Public Works will be in this room on January 7th. It's Tuesday at 5:30 p.m.
Trustee Rick Miller.
General Government and Finance will meet on January 19th in this room, 5:30 p.m.
Trustee Mike Cutts.
Public Safety will meet in this room on Monday, January 5th at 6 p.m.
Would any other committee chairs or commission chairs like to say anything? Trustee Rick Miller.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick update on the ATV usage within the village. It was passed, however, it is not legal until the signs go up. So that's really the next step. Matt Mortwet and I met with Tim Rohr last week to really discuss how we have to do that. And the next step is to inventory all the sign areas. And there's approximately 75 points to survey. Tim and I are going to do that next week. Once we have that and determine how many signs we need in that and get a quote, then we will start the donation process, and that's going to be done through the Kettle Moraine ATV Association. So once we get that in place, we'll send out a little bit more and hopefully put it on the website, and we can have more information about that.
Okay, thank you. We are now on to citizen input. Would anybody
President
like to come forward?
Soderberg?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Could I make an announcement for the economic development meeting will be held January 13th, Tuesday, in the village board meeting room at 6 p.m. And I'd also like to make a follow-up announcement for Luminary Night. First of all, I'd like to thank the police department, the DPW, and the entire community for showing up and helping us out for our 32nd annual Luminary Night at Windsong Subdivision. It was from 5:30 to 8 p.m. We had 600 cars come through. We had 76 boxes of non-perishable food. And we also had $3,322 in donations of cash. All the food and the cash goes to the St. Boniface Food Pantry. So thank you very much from everyone at Windsong Subdivision. Thanks for your participation.
That is excellent. Thank you, Jan, for
You're welcome.
giving that update. All right, now we are on to citizen input. Would anybody like to come forward tonight and speak? Good evening and welcome.
I'm Gilletta Kirpin, Germantown Chamber, N112 W16760 Mequon Road in Germantown. So the year has flown by. The last time I gave an update was back in July, so I just want to do that very quick. So as a reminder, the Germantown Chamber, we're a 501c6 organization that provides our businesses and organizations, our member business and organizations, networking, resources, education, events, and promotion. Some of these benefits also align with the community. And we can promote the community through these events as well. So we currently have 2 employees. We are run by a board of directors. At this moment, we have 205 members, but we're in the middle of renewal season, so we'll see how that goes. And my goal here is just to keep spreading knowledge about the chamber and what we do. So some updates that have happened since July. We hosted a bunch of ribbon cuttings, which, as always, I invite you guys in the community too. We did ribbon cuttings for seniors of Washington County and Ozaukee County, Friends of the Germantown Canine, WDL of Wisconsin, the Germantown Community Scholarship Fund, Pallet Guy, Relish Supper Club, Appleworks Winery, Green Bay Packaging, Quick Trip, Good Vibes CBD and Wellness, the Veterans Memorial, and Bethlehem Lutheran Church and School. So these were great events. Again, community, we'd love to have you there at these ribbon cuttings. It's a great way to celebrate our new businesses in Germantown. We've been distributing our community guides not only to our community, but chambers across the state and visitor center on I-94 up and down all around the state. We do 2 business networkings every month, and that's in cooperation with Menominee Falls Chamber, Hartford, and West Bend Chambers. We do a business after hours quarterly, and that is also something that's open to the public, and we do in cooperation with other groups. This year, we started our 26th class of Leadership Germantown, which the village very much supports by sending village staff, police, fire, hosting. So we're very thankful to the village for that. We conducted our 16th year of the Manufacturing and Trade Career Expo. This is an event that brings middle school and high school students to Washington County Fair Park to learn about careers in the trades and manufacturing. This is a great hands-on experience. It's not a job fair. They get to learn about apprenticeship and just how to go about a great career in the trades and manufacturing. We co-host this with Menominee Falls Chamber. And again, I encourage, if you have any interest in coming by, please come by. It's not open to the public. It's not really something we advertise, but we do want that interest in people stopping by to see what we're doing. This year, we started distributing new mover bags to those who are new in the community and stop by our office. This also showcases our members, and we're happy to do that. And then we just hosted the Germantown Christmas Festival. So that's the Jingle Bell Dash, the 5K, Candy Cane Run Walk, Christmas Festival Parade, Christmas in the Park. And the event gives our chamber members a great opportunity to get promotion, to volunteer, to participate. And then we have a couple things going on right now. We have the Tannenbaum Trail that's going on in Fireman's Park. This is about 45 trees that people in the community sponsor and decorate. They could be anything from our chamber members to people just doing a new tradition with their family, decorating a tree. We have trees that honor loved ones. There's a great variety there. And I encourage everyone to walk through on their own time and check it out. One of the big things we're doing right now is our Small Business Every Day campaign. So right now at the chamber office, we are offering gift certificates from our chamber members in like a one-stop shopping atmosphere. So I think I gave you guys the flyer. All of our, not all of our, but most of our small businesses participate in this. So I highly encourage you to tell people about it. It's great stocking stuffers. And again, one-stop shopping. Let's see. And that is pretty much what's going on right now. Along with all these other things, I do represent the chamber in a bunch of other places, including the Tourism Commission, Economic Development, the Library Board, which I was originally elected to the Library Board as a resident of Richfield. There is one seat on the Library Board for a person in Richfield, so I'm there, but I'm also representing the chamber as well there. I'm also on the board of the Tower Heritage Center, so basically Washington County Historical Society. Friends of Leadership Germantown Board, I'm in Kiwanis, and when I have the time, I volunteer at elections, which I'll get back on that this year. So I want to extend a heartfelt appreciation to the village for all they do to support our events. I want to say thank you to the Tourism Commission. They support our endeavors, which promote the village through advertising and our events. Department of Public Works, they get everything ready for us for Christmas Festival. Anything going on at Fireman's, they get the poles in the ground before it freezes for Tannenbaum Trail. They clean up after our messes. They're the best. Police Department, they okay our parade permits so we can have have our events, but also are always on site for the parade in the park. We just appreciate all their support in Leadership Germantown as well. Fire department, I always have them on standby, ready to go if anyone hurts themselves at our 5K or anything like that. To this day, no one has, so they'll probably be in business next year. Someone will fall now that I said that. But they're always available, always participating in the parade, always happy to have them. Our Park and Rec department supports us with letting us use their facilities. They also promote our event in their guides, which is very nice. And they always take my calls when I frantically forget something right before the event, and they usually have it on hand for me to borrow. So I appreciate that. And just all the Germantown Village staff that have to deal with me at some point during the year. I just very much appreciate you and thank you for all your help. So that's pretty much it. I'm up. Sorry. Looking forward to 2026. Thank you for your support. And if anyone has any questions on what the chamber does at any time, I am always available. Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you. Merry Christmas. And thank you. And thank you so much for not only what you do, but also the chamber in moving Germantown forward. And I saw you yesterday, because I'm a Kiwanis volunteer as well, at the Santa for breakfast. And I think you were kind of dressed like an elf. I don't really want to share that with anybody, but in all seriousness, the chamber has done a wonderful job in partnership with the village. And I think what we could do is at a future village board meeting is put the chamber on as an agenda item so that you could have a presentation and share more, because you do a lot for the village and moving the Germantown forward, but also supporting the businesses in the community. I think you're spot on. That's great. So keep up the good work. Would anybody else like to come forward tonight? Is there anybody on WebEx that would like to speak tonight? Do we have any written communication?
We do have 3 comments that were submitted via email. The first was from Sarah Larson, and it reads, as in my submitted comment to GGF, I opposed approving merit increases above the salary band as it relates to increasing an individual's base salary. An employee can still receive a merit increase for the year, but it should be paid in the form of a stipend and not in addition to pay base until such time as the pay bands are reviewed and adjusted. At that point, subsequent merit increases can serve to increase the base pay. The second is from Tom Barney. It says, regarding new business item C, exhibit B of this item shows that the path sidewalk on Division and slightly south of Ava Circle. It also proposes extending the sidewalk to Lilac Lane, where it will dead end again. This proposal also calls for a new crossing to connect to the path on the east side of Division at the new sidewalk ending. Why incur the expense of extending the sidewalk? Instead, save the money and put the crossing at Ava Circle to connect the existing paths. Additionally, if a path already exists on the east side of Division and there are plans to widen it to 8 feet, why would we extend additional paths on the west side and require future developers to also install paths, sidewalks in their developments? Doing so would duplicate an amenity that is already available, particularly when the DPW has indicated that maintaining it, including snow removal, is prohibitively expensive. Thank you, Tom Barney. And the final email is from the Schneiders. Hello, we are send this email to the board directly. We would like you to please read it before attending the meeting tonight. Please read at the meeting tonight too. It must be the last one you read aloud at a meeting on record. The consent agenda item A, the reading of all emails sent in for the comments to not being read anymore during public comments. This is not fair at all. We and others might have information and or a thought on the issue that other residents didn't think about. This is not just for board members. So before you take action on this at the meeting on 12/15/25, think about this. How do we know for sure that every one of you read the comments sent in from all the residents and our comments too? We can say for sure we are aware of 3 trustees who do read our comments. Yes, they replied back to us. One trustee is not our trustee, but does give us feedback, which is fine. Also, one member who sent a general reply back, thank you for your comments. To us, this means they just send this back, maybe with reading it or not reading it. because no comments are included in the message at all. This has nothing to do with keeping meetings short. You need to stop putting so much on an agenda for a meeting, especially if you think a lot of residents and business people might show up and voice their opinions. Another thing too, when watching and listening to the meeting, you have pushed things through just to get it done. Other things do happen during your meetings. Just go back and watch the meeting again. You will see it. Suggestion, why not have the GGF meeting on a separate night? Most of the time, there is a lot of issues on the agenda too. Even with starting at 5:30 PM, most of the time, it is not enough time for them to get it done properly. Also, all board members to be in attendance. Discuss it until you all agree on it. The final vote at village board with no more questions and or discussion on it. This would cut the meeting time down. This would make a lot of sense to do this way. You don't know if it will be a good fit or not until you try it. So before you take action on this, please remember our First Amendment rights. Quote, the First Amendment restricts government actions, not private entities or individuals. The Schneiders.
Okay, we are now moving on to the consent agenda. It's a rather large consent agenda, and we just heard tonight during GGF that if we do pull something off for further discussion, we don't have to do a motion on that. But I would ask that if you want to pull something off to have a separate vote, that's fine. But if you want to pull something off just to ask some questions, please ask your questions now on whatever topic you want to address so we can move forward. So I'll entertain a motion so we get some discussion going. And this will be a roll call vote, by the way, because there's dollars involved.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda items A through L as presented.
Second.
Do we have discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, roll call. I just said that. Am I doing it? Yeah. Should have whacked me.
We're faster. Trustee Warren,
Aye.
trustee Ketz,
Aye.
trustee Bum,
Aye.
trustee Borst. Aye. Trustee Pieper, trustee Rick Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Kaminsky, trustee Jan Miller,
Aye.
village president Soderberg.
Aye. That motion carries. We are now on to new business. Yeah, new business. Item A, renewal of the flock camera 5-year contract. This will be a roll call vote as well. Minister Kreklo.
I'll just be very brief. If there are specific questions, the finance director and the police chief are here to help answer those. But basically, this is the renewal of the flock cameras that are stationed primarily in the county line area to assist with law enforcement activities.
Any questions for staff? Entertain a motion.
As presented.
Second.
Do we have discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Nope, that's the roll call. Roll call.
Trustee Warren,
Aye.
trustee Ketz,
Aye.
trustee Bum, trustee Borst. Aye. Trustee Rick Miller,
Aye.
trustee Kaminsky, trustee Pieper, can you hear me? Okay. Trustee Jan Miller,
Aye.
village president Soderberg.
Aye. That motion carries. We are now on to item B, appointment of election inspectors, special voting deputies, and central count election officials for the 2026, 2027 election term. Minister Kreklo.
This again is a annual item that comes before the board, and you'll see within the packet the lists of election staff that have been put forward by the village clerk's office for the 2026 election cycles.
Approval as presented.
Second.
Do we have discussion? I just want to say, I want to thank all those that are on this list. I want to thank them for their their leadership, and because elections are so paramount for our democracy. So thank you so much. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. We are now on to item C, Division Road 2024 Trail Plan Update. Administrator Krecklow.
This item, and we do have DPW staff here to answer specific questions, but this is basically updating the trail plan, which includes all of the recreational trails in the village to reflect changes that are part of the Division Road reconstruction. So this is just simply an update to the trail plan to be consistent with the design as it's moving forward for Division Road.
Thank you. Entertain a motion.
Approval is presented.
Second.
Do we have discussion? Trustee Baum.
I have a slight problem when we put an 8-foot pathway on one side of the road and another 8-foot pathway on the other side of a road. It seems like it's overkill. I heard the discussion at Plan Commission meeting that we want something on both sides so people aren't crossing the street at mid-block. If we need something on both sides, that's fine, but 8 foot wide on both sides is way too much. So I'm not gonna vote for this because I don't agree with that.
Who would best from staff be appropriate? Kevin. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, trustees. In response to your question, Trustee Baum, about the 8-foot wide path, staff identified this omission, took it to Public Works and the Parks and Recreation Commission, and it was unanimously supported by the Parks and Recreation Commission, and it improves the connectivity and safety by having trails that are accessible on both sides of Division Road.
Sure, I understand that, but 8 foot wide on both sides of the road is what I don't see. I don't think that's necessary.
The development handbook has identified a sidewalk at 5-foot and 6-foot widths. During the public information meeting process, it was identified that the 8-foot width is a preferred design to accommodate both pedestrians that are walking, pushing a stroller, riding a scooter, going in a wheelchair, and also to accommodate pedestrians moving in the other direction that might be traveling the same way. And having a 5-foot width makes it a lot tighter than an 8-foot width to accommodate those types of pedestrian movements.
Further discussion, Trustee Warren.
Based on my experience, this is multi-use trails are a minimum of 8 feet wide to accommodate all the uses that you said. In fact, 8 is probably the minimum width that you want with bicycles, joggers, and strollers and all of that. 5 certainly is way too narrow. And 8's the minimum.
Trustee Baum.
I would agree with that, but when I have it on both sides of a road, it seems like it's overkill. That 8 foot wide path is for dual traffic, and it's too wide put on both sides of the road. Plus, you're gonna make people plow that on their own if they live in front of it, if that goes through their front yard. I have a problem with it on both sides of the road.
Further discussion. Thank you, Kevin.
Sure, you're welcome.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
We have 3 opposed. Trustee Force, Trustee Baum, and Trustee Jan Miller. That motion carries. We are now moving on.
Correction.
Yes.
I,
Yes, Jan.
I said I approve. I'm sorry if I was a little delayed.
Okay, that motion carries. I apologize.
No worries.
That motion carries. We're now on to item D, Senior Center Fire Protection System Repair, Replacement, or Removal. Minister Krecklow.
This is an item that went through the Public Works Committee. We do have the fire chief here if there are any questions, but in essence, the recommendation coming from the Public Works and Highway Committee is to abandon a fire protection system in the senior center that is at the end of its useful life and is no longer functioning properly. The fire protection system was installed when the building was constructed some years ago. It is not required by code, and after review of both the building and the fire protection system, the fire chief's analysis to the Public Works and Highway Committee is that it was not necessary.
Thank you. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to remove the sprinkler system from the senior center.
Second.
We have discussion. My question, and maybe Chief, if you could come forward. I understand that we can decommission it, but do we have to incur the expense of removing it just now? And if we do go down that path, where's the dollars coming from?
So the system can be just decommissioned. However, the heads that are hanging inside of the building would have to get removed. Piping in the ceiling does not have to get removed, just the heads would have to get removed. You can't have those hanging there, giving people a false sense of hope that it is a sprinkler system, sprinkler building.
Right, and you could just blow out the sprinklers like you do your lawn sprinklers so that there's no moisture in there.
Essentially,
Yeah.
yes. They would
Okay.
have to blow it out to make sure there's nothing standing in any of those spots.
And the cost associated with removing would be what? Because we do have a motion for that.
I do not have the cost on to just having it emptied. I think that's actually being done already, if I remember correctly.
Because I think
I'll revise my motion to decommission.
Yeah, then that's coming from Public Works.
because I think at Public Works, it came forward to.
It came
decommission.
forward to decommission, and that's really what I meant. So if it's okay with the second, I would make my motion to decommission instead
Okay,
of
whoever,
remove.
second? Okay, thank you. All right, further discussion. Seeing none, thank you,
Question.
sir. Yes, Jen.
Chief Delane, can you explain what fire protection system that we have now at the senior center?
Currently in the senior center, you have fire alarms, horns and strobes, as well as a wet sprinkler system, kind of. The sprinkler system that is there is fed off of a well. In your packet, I did include the analysis of the well from when it was drilled, which was tested at 30 gallons per minute. Currently, the best case scenario for a sprinkler system inside that building requires a 600 gallon per minute supply. And for that to occur, it either would have to get hooked up to municipal water, which also in your packet is a map of how far away that is, which is about 470 feet. Or you would have to install enough water storage that could supply that 600 gallons a minute for 2 hours. I don't recall off the top of my head for how many sprinkler heads that is. I want to say it's in the neighborhood of 4 or 5. The problem as it sits right now is it's not really protecting anything because it is only rated at 30 gallons per minute. And the second problem with it is the glycol antifreeze that is currently in the system that's keeping it from freezing is only good to -1 degree, which we've had colder than already. And if those pipes break in the attic of that building, you won't notice it until it melts, which they may have broken already. And when we have the thaw this week, that building could become inundated with the water.
Wow. So what I'm
Trustee
hearing
Baum.
is that there are alarms and horns that comply with that is enough. The alarms and horns are enough for fire protection for the size that the senior center is.
That is correct. The actual size of the building has very little to do with it.
Okay.
It mostly has to do with the human occupant load that goes into that building.
Oh.
That building is regulated by the state Department of Safety and Personal Services, Section 362, and the International Building Code, and it's a Group A3 occupancy, which as long as the occupancy load stays under 300 people, it is not required to have a sprinkler system in it.
And the fire system is for detection and it's ADA compliant, so that if there are occupants in the building, they'll be properly notified of a fire emergency so they could evacuate. So
The alarm system inside the building is actually exceeds what is required for the alarm code. The only reason that building has a sprinkler system in it today is it was installed underneath a old code that the village had for interim installations. That's pretty much means it was put in there in the event that the municipal water system would be brought to that building. And in the code, if the municipal water system was brought to that building had 6 months to get connected to it. The municipal water system stops at the fire station. There is a 2-inch pipe that goes to the pavilion there, but that would not be enough to supply the required amount of water flow.
Trustee Baum.
So a couple questions. What class of construction is that building under?
A3.
No, that's occupancy, type of construction, 5B, 5A,
It's ordinary combustible.
wood frame.
Yep.
So that would be the least fire suppressive construction, and
Right.
it's only allowed to go up to so many square feet before it has to have a sprinkler system. My only line of this questioning is if the village ever decides to expand that building again, I think the next addition would trigger a requirement to put a sprinkler system in because it would be over the allowable square footage of a wood frame construction building.
I believe you are correct. I don't have the square footage off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I believe you're correct. In that case, it would be extremely expensive upgrade for it because it would have to bring municipal water there or supply the water storage capabilities.
Correct.
It's
So-
not unheard of for anybody who's familiar with Cabela's. Those silos on the outside of Cabela's aren't there for aesthetics. That is actually filled with water for their sprinkler system to supply the required flow.
Right. So just for consideration, there's a future cost if. So
Chief, to that point, and thank you, Trustee Baum, for bringing that up.
Mhm.
As a jurisdiction having authority, you can make an exceptions to code, correct?
I can, yes.
Okay, thank you. So therefore, you could make an exception.
Possible.
Right.
Under certain conditions, yeah.
under certain conditions, you have to have an equal offset. He just can't say, no, you don't have to follow the code.
Right.
You have to do something other.
Further discussion? Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have one opposed. Jen, did you yea or
I'm-
nay?
Aye. Yes, I'm okay.
Okay,
I agree.
okay, that motion carries. Thank you. We're now on to item E, approval of the 10-year road program. Minister Preklo.
This is an annual update of the 10-year road program that was reviewed by the Public Works and Highway Committee. The Public Works Director is here if there are any questions that the board has.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
We have discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. We are now on to item F. Community Development Department ordinance to adopt amendments to the floodplain zoning ordinance, Germantown Municipal Code, Chapter 23, and the revised flood insurance study and flood insurance rate maps with an effective date of February 20th, 2026. Administrator Preklo.
Again, this was an item that went through committee, the Plan Commission. The Federal Emergency Management Administration did review the flood maps of the village of Germantown that are used to determine the need for flood insurance by the private property owners. The Community Development Director is here if the board has any questions.
Trustee Pieper.
Jeff, what are we supposed to explain to residents, or Steve, I don't know who can answer this, who disagree with their property, which wasn't in a floodplain and now is being considered in a floodplain?
Well, individual, excuse me, individual property owners can file what's known as a letter of map change. Depending upon their conditions, if there was fill involved that put the property higher than what the current floodplain maps show the property as being at, there's a separate process for that. But essentially, you're filing survey information, vertical survey information of your property to FEMA for them to reevaluate compared to the floodplain boundaries shown on the maps. And they make a determination whether you truly are or are that have been filed over the last, well, we've been a member of the National Flood Insurance Program for over 50 years. I think the first letter of map change that I've seen on record goes back to the 80s. So there's a number of them out there. With these new maps that would become effective on February 20th of 2026, 19 of those letter of map change, existing map changes would be retro or effectively re-evaluated or I try to find the word, recertified one day after that effective date. The remaining 12 would actually expire, and those property owners that have a current letter of map change would have to file new information to FEMA in an application seeking recertification.
And is there a place to direct residents where to go,
Yes.
website, where to start, instructions how to do it?
They can contact our department and we will direct them to the appropriate information available on the FEMA website.
Okay.
There's so much information on the FEMA website, it's confusing. So we can help guide people through that process, that application process.
Okay.
And Trustee Pieper, we did discuss this at the Plan Commission meeting, and there was a very healthy discussion and a lot of concern
I was
about
watching.
this.
Yeah.
And I know we discussed at that time that I believe the village or the Mequon is taking a totally different path on this at a very high cost of doing this, and we could certainly do that as well. But right now, the Plan Commission felt that we move this forward and that we communicate that these are the changes. These were the before and these are the after. And if you're impacted by this, we have some guidelines to assist you in terms of working with FEMA. And that could be providing templates, instructions from staff, all the above. But we definitely want to communicate this. So
I just wanted this to be vocal, be
Agreed.
public, getting the information out. Not all residents will watch all the planning commission meetings. I know, I understand it was spoken there. I just wanted it to be public here.
because I know, Jeff, you made a comment that based on the August flood, what was in the proposed FEMA of floodplain that we approved at the Plan Commission, it was dry.
Right. I mean, this graphic I have up on the screen shows a portion of the village in the south central area, Mequon Road on the south, Western Avenue on the left side, Main Street on the top. On the left is the current floodplain map. On the right is the proposed floodplain map. Despite some coloration differences, you can see the extent of the blue, solid blue line on the right is much further and covers more area, just eyeballing it, than does the current map. And some of those areas during the August flood event, we were driving up and down on Squire Drive, and it was dry. It was high and dry, and it wasn't 5 feet underwater as these boundary maps would suggest the land should have been.
So the impact to a resident that, or a business that's not in the floodplain today, but is in the floodplain tomorrow is what? I have to go out and get flood insurance, correct?
Yes.
If I have a mortgage.
If you have a mortgage, or if you just want to be protected because now you believe the federal government and their maps more so than what, on February 20th versus on February 19th is more accurate, it's a tough call. Obviously, if there's a mortgage involved, your lender is going to, at some point, require you to get that insurance if it's a federally backed mortgage. Some people purchase the insurance just for the their own sake of mind. You know, and as you pointed out, at the Plan Commission meeting, it would be beneficial if property owners knew that they were now in a floodplain when before they thought they weren't. I've asked that question of our FEMA folks at the state level. They have not yet gotten back to me as to whether or not there's a mandatory requirement by or for FEMA or the state to notify people, but we certainly can if we choose to do that. We could notify people.
Yeah, and the consensus of the Plan Commission was that we would go down that path. We just have to figure out the best way of communicating to our residents. Trustee Baum.
But the village is not doing anything other than informing residents of this change. Residents have to do it all themselves.
Correct. And we'll provide
Question-
some guidelines and instruction to assist them to facilitate that. So.
And make it clear, we're not doing anything.
Correct. Trustee Miller, Jen Miller.
Thank you. Quick question. Jeff, you said that there were 19 recertified properties and 12 that weren't. Do you know what the difference is? I mean, can you explain what the difference is?
Not in a short amount of time.
Oh,
The only information I have, quite frankly, it's very high level. It essentially, those letter of map changes that won't be automatically recertified have to do with revised topographic information and revised hydrologic and hydraulic analyses that were conducted by FEMA's engineers using the new data collected through the new flood insurance study effort.
okay.
I don't know exactly what those differences are or what they actually mean, other than property owners would have to file new information to prove that their properties are in fact out of the floodplain. And it would likely be similar hydrologic and hydraulic analyses conducted by an engineer to provide FEMA alternative information for them to consider. I mean, that's something that they have told us in the past when we first raised objections to the maps. Their answer was, yes, we understand that you visually can see you're not underwater when you're supposed to be, but that's anecdotal information for us. You need to prove through engineering analyses and data collection that we are in fact wrong, and you have to collect the same or similar data that we've collected and do the same or similar analyses that we did in order for us to compare apples to apples and then agree with you that, yes, we did something wrong along the way. Sounds like an insurmountable task. I don't know what the city of Mequon what their effort is at this point, how far along it is and how expensive it is.
Okay, thank you very much.
Further discussion. Trustee Rick Miller.
A lot of this stuff is in multifamily areas. So this isn't the individual condo owners, right? This would be their HOAs that would have to fight this, wouldn't it be?
In some cases, yes. I mean, we were aware of one condo association that has been vocal over the years. They went through the effort to get a letter of map change back in, I believe it was 2013 or 2015. And they were granted the map change. They were deemed to be out of the floodplain. And along come the new maps that show now they're back in the floodplain, not just back in the floodplain, but now 5 feet, further underwater than they were originally. Even though, again, in August, their land wasn't underwater. So it's an uphill battle, but they can file that information. And frankly, I think this may just be my own personal perspective, that in a case like this, an individual property owner may have a better chance of succeeding in getting their individual properties waived out of the floodplain than if the village claimed an entire area should be out of the floodplain. That sounds counterintuitive, but that's my gut feeling.
Further discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. We are now moving on to item G, Home Path Financial LP, agent for the Morrison Family Farm LLC, property owner, resolutions to approve minor amendments to the Sutton Farm Plan Development District and the preliminary subdivision. Didn't have a motion? Oh,
Yeah, I made the motion.
No.
Didn't I?
You only asked a question.
okay. I'll entertain a motion. I apologize.
Approve new business item F as presented.
Second.
Thank you. We have more discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
I have a
Aye.
question.
Yes, Trustee Miller.
Sorry, I would like to understand the difference between approving a regular amendment and a minor amendment.
That's the.
No,
Yeah.
we're still on, and I apologize. I'm following my sword. We're still on item F. I failed to entertain a motion, and we have a motion and we also have a second. So we're having further discussion.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? That motion carries. We are now on to item G. Trustee Jan Miller, you are yay or nay? On the motion for floodplain.
Floodplain, I am, yes, I'm okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we are on item G, Home Path Financial LP, agent for Morrison Family Farm LLC, property owner. Resolutions to approve minor amendments to the Sutton Farm Plan Development District and preliminary subdivision plat. Minister Krecklow.
This is a request from the developers of the Lannon and County Line Road proposal for a minor amendment to their planned development district and their preliminary subdivision plat, primarily to reflect a change in an access point as after discussions with Washington County, because it is on a county highway. We have Associate Planner Jordan Yankee here to answer any questions, and the developers in the audience as well.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Do we have discussion?
Yeah.
Trustee Borst.
Can you clarify what, like, an example, this is an example, obviously, of a minor change. Can you clarify an example of what a major change would be?
You want to take that, Brian? I can take a stab at it. Well, in my opinion, a major change would be, let's say you have the units, the amount of units that are proposed right now, and then the developer comes back and say, well, we want another, 15 units on site, thus affecting the density and what's written into the conditions and restrictions that were approved back in July. In this case, yes, there's some minor tweaks, minor being the operative word, to the conditions and restrictions that were approved in July. But with the shift in roadway, that's really what they are. They don't materially, change the concept of the proposal. So that's where you get the minor amendment, and the Plan Commission voted in favor of it being minor, so therefore pass it along to the board for your decision tonight.
And we did hear from a community member that lives off of Lannon Road that was in support of the roadway change. So.
Okay, so this would eliminate the roadway on County Line and make it just on Lannon, or would be in addition to?
So it actually just shifts the roadway access to Lannon on the west there. It just shifts it. If you see here, the two difference, here's the initial general development plan and plat, and then you see it being shifted about 200 feet north to alleviate a site distance concern that the developer encountered with Washington County. But at the same time, a resident on the west side of Lannon Road came to Plan Commission and stated that it would also alleviate some concerns, if you recall back in July, that the residents had with headlights shining into the homes on the west side of Lannon as they would exit the development.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion?
Question.
Yes, Trustee Miller.
Thank you. So that, how do you determine that 200 feet is minor?
That's for the board to ultimately decide. Staff believes that the 200 feet shift does not materially affect the intended design of the project as you see on screen here. as essentially the development is maintaining its character and what was approved in July. Staff finds the 200 feet and Plan Commission upheld that thought process that it would be minor in effect for that shift of the roadway. It doesn't substantially change the development.
Are there entrance and exits on county line still?
Correct. Yes, there was 2 approved and there will still be 2.
Have those changed locations?
No.
Okay. And is there a developers agreement?
That's currently in the works.
Why do we have these developments come forward and we don't get to review the developers agreement?
You do review the developer's agreement once it's completed. It's not completed at this point because until the actual design of the subdivision is approved, we don't know what we're putting in the development agreement. We don't know what streets are required. We don't know what public facilities and infrastructure may be required. All of that may change until the plan is approved, and then we do the development agreement. And then that'll come to you for approval.
And Trustee Jen Miller, I would agree that the minor and the major are both subjective, but I have confidence in staff to come forward with their recommendation, which is vetted by the Plan Commission, which is ultimately vetted and approved or not by the village board. So further discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
That motion carries. We are now on to item H, Community Development Department Consultant Selection for the Village Center District Community Engagement Program. Administrator Krecklow.
As you may recall, a few months ago, we came to the village board with a draft RFP for community engagement for the Village Center District. We incorporated the feedback from the village board into the RFP and sent it out. We advertised at several on several websites, the League of Municipalities websites, the Professional Association for Planners, and as well as the village website. We received 5 proposals. They're on the screen: SRF Consulting, Grafe and DeVore, Chastain, Juan Gabriel, Moreno Architects, and Community Collaboration. The proposals were reviewed first by staff. You can see the staff recommendations up on the board here. Staff recommended SRF as to be awarded the contract. That recommendation was reviewed with the Plan Commission at their last meeting, and the Plan Commission concurred with that recommendation. So this is before the board for approval this evening.
And this
Motion to approve as presented.
discussion, and I'll just say that this follows the same process that was used when a committee reviewed the financial planner. And the recommendation went to the GGF, and GGF approved it to go to the full village board for a vote. So Trustee Pieper.
Yeah, I just want to say I went through all of the proposals as well. I think you did a good job of making a weighted platform to make this decision. I think I would have made the same one if I was doing it by myself. I support it.
Further discussion.
Question.
Trustee Cutts.
Oh, sorry.
Trustee Cutts got the floor. Hold on.
Gotcha.
I looked at all of them also. My first choice though was Chastain. I liked them better because they had 4 focus groups and some more pop-up events, and I thought they had more as far as community engagement. So that's who I would support.
Trustee Jen Miller.
Yes. I want to clarify something. This consultant selection is for the Village Center District. Is that correct?
At this point in the process, the community engagement program is intended to address the 3 village-owned properties that were identified in the RFP: the Flower Source, the Ascension, and the Grossnick properties. After the RFP was released, there was discussion amongst the board members, I believe, to possibly approach the consultant that was selected and potentially add additional properties to the scope of the community engagement effort. That may include the recycling center property and possibly the Blackstone Creek property. But at this point, that is the extent of the community engagement effort. Now, with that said, I think that at a staff level, our thought was to help guide the consultant in crafting a community engagement effort that could be used to gather information that would prove useful and applied to all of the properties in the entire Village Center District, from Blackstone Creek all the way to Pilgrim Road, from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way south to Mequon Road, and all the land in between, which certainly includes all 5 of those particular properties I just mentioned.
Trustee Baum.
The intent is not to design concepts for any site. The intent is to get design criteria. Is that correct?
Yes, the intent is to get enough information and potential detail that could craft a set of parameters from which a specific developer, architect could then prepare detailed design specifications for a particular site.
Okay, thank you.
And Trustee Baum, my intention is not to kick the can down the road. My intention is to have engagement so that we could come to agreement in terms of a path forward that is not 6 months to a year from now, but that is right around the corner, because I want to get rid of those properties.
I just want to make sure everybody is understanding that we're not designing another layout for any of these facilities. We got layouts for many of these locations. We're just looking for design criteria as to what should go there as opposed to what we've seen already.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say, wait a sec, that's a roll call vote because there's dollars involved. I think I'm accurate with that. See, Donna, I am learning.
Made by Trustee Pieper and seconded by Trustee
Yep.
Baum. And we will start with you, Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Cutts.
Nay.
Did you say nay?
Nay.
Thank you. Trustee Baum. Trustee Borst. Aye. Trustee Pieper. Aye. Trustee Rick Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Kaminsky. Trustee Jan Miller.
Nay.
And Village President Soderberg.
Aye, that motion carries. We are now on to item I, authorization to award merit pay increases outside the current pay range for certain positions. Administrator Crockett.
Approve as presented.
Second.
Do we have discussion? No discussion? No discussion?
Seconded that, please. Thank you, Trustee Baum.
Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Is
Roll call?
that roll call?
It's what?
You've already approved the total expenditure, so I don't know that you would need to, but of course you can always request it at any time.
Yeah.
So all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Two opposed. Thank you. We are now, that motion carries. We are now moving on to item J. Resolution to adopt the agreement for the operation of the Mid-Moraine Municipal Court.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
We have discussion. No discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Are we really?
We are now adjourned at 8:34 PM. And thank you everyone for coming tonight. Drive home safe and Merry Christmas to everyone and Happy New Year. And that